So welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video we're going to be looking at my Porsche 997. I don't think I've featured this car on the channel for probably well over a year, and in this video what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking off this GT3 Aero Kit spoiler and I'm going to be putting on the deck lid that you see behind me there. This video is really suitable no matter what you're doing. If you are maybe taking off your flat lid, putting on a Ducktail or putting on a GT3 spoiler just like this. Incidentally, I want to show you the wheels that I've got on this car right now. These are new. I just thought you might like to see them. So that's the car. It's a 2006 997 Carrera 4S. Also, it's been that long since I showed you this car. Do you remember a lot of you were sort of going on about the splitter, the front splitter that was on the car? Sorry, I'm just trying to focus there. The front splitter that was on the car, that has all been done, and I'll show you the front of the car. You can see that is all now looking perfect. What we did was we put the new splitter on, but the bumper wasn't really matching with the bodywork, the metal parts. So we got a front end respray, and now it's all looking good. All looks nice and neat, tidy, and I think those wheels look really, really good on this car, but I think it'll set off even better when that spoiler is removed. The reason that spoiler was on to start with is because I don't know if you remember last year I said I was going to sell the car, so I thought best thing to do would be to put the GT3 kit back on it as it came from the factory. And I had put the GT3 wheels on, but I've since done a U-turn. I'm keeping the car, and so I thought I'd buy these wheels, which I think look really good, and put the flat lid back on. So this is what it looks like with the GT3 spoiler on. It does still look really, really good, but I'm just a sucker for the classic lines of a Porsche 911. And if you're wondering, this is what I've also got in the garage right now. This is a 2012 991 Carrera S, front aero kit, sport, classic style wheels, yellow decals, skirts, lowered vehicle. I'll be doing more on that car soon. In fact, before this video goes out, I might have even done a video on that. So that's just a quick look at what's in the garage right now. It does need a clean. That is so filthy. So this job is probably easier than you might think. Just first of all, release the lock mechanism and we'll bring it up as normal. And all we've really got is 4 bolts. We've got 2 on this side here, 2 on the other side as well, and we also have an electrical connection. So you'll see this electrical connection going down here, and it goes into kind of like the side area here. I've got my hand on it right there. So what you're best off doing is taking this off first of all, because what you'll find is that when you lift the whole thing off, you've then got a pretty awkward electrical connection. So do the electrical connection first, then undo the bolts. Come off fairly easy there. And one thing which is actually quite worrying me a little bit is that there is a little bit of water on this electrical connection. So I'll have to investigate that a little bit further. But what you need to do with the electrical connection, you might find it a little bit tricky. Best thing to do is sort of push it in to the other side of the connection, and then this little clip here, this little sort of release mechanism, you pull it out and then you can release it. So push it in, pull this back, and then pull it out, and this should come out. It's fairly easy once you know exactly how to do it, but if you're unsure with the sort of the VAG style connections like that, it can be a little bit tricky and it can be a little bit awkward. And then you just got a couple of 10mm bolts, which are really, really easy. I'd recommend undoing them, but not fully. Sort of do them loose on both sides. And then this is where you kind of start making sure that you can hold the underside of it just in case it drops, because obviously you don't want to damage any of this paintwork. What you can do course, is put cloths underneath, but I've kind of done this so many times. And then we can find somewhere safe for this to sit. And then I'll take my flat lid, and it just goes on in exact reverse. Again, just be very careful, making sure that you're not bashing any body part. And then if we see here on the original bracket, you might be able to see where there's been some marks where previous bolts have been. So definitely see it on this one here. So what you might want to do is kind of try and line up the bolts so that they sit where they'd previously been sitting. Okay, so at this point I've got the screws in. I haven't got them super tight, but I have got them tight enough for me to close it. I'm not going to put in the electrical connection just yet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut it. It's going to be a little bit of a test fit, so we'll do it quite slowly. And you can see that line right there is just too tight. So we do need a little bit of adjustment. And that's a good thing about these screws, because you can adjust them. You do get a little bit of play, so you can maybe bring this boot lid a little bit further this way in order to get closed. So it doesn't really want to, we could shut it, I think. We can shut it. Let's see what the line looks like now. Actually, it's still, for me, just a little bit too tight, and that's quite a big gap there. See that there? Versus the really good line we've got there, and that's not tight at all. So if we can move it kind of along and just down a little bit on this side, that'll be good. And the line along the bottom, you can see it's wider there than it is there. So a little bit of playing around to do it, but I'll do that off camera. But what do you think it looks like now? I think it changes the car. Really do. It's not easy to get a good idea of how it'll look on the inside of this little garage here, but once it's out in the real world, I think that will look really, really sexy. So that's it for me on today's video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll be doing lots more videos, hopefully, on the 997 throughout this year. It's been a car that's just been sitting in my garage. Like today, I've had it, it's been in my home garage, and I've transferred it to this garage, but the time distance between it was about 6 months, so I just haven't been able to find the opportunity to put some good hours in with this car. A few projects that I had on the go have now come to an end, so I now feel like I've got a bit more time to do what I need to do with this car and just have some fun with it. So roll on 2024. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.